Welcome to the Denise Gary Show, ladies and gentlemen. What have we heard all week? We've heard that the president is a racist. Really? Has there ever been a thing said by this president while running for office or after being elected that indicates that he's a racist? Not a thing. Everybody likes to point to the times in which he's talked about an invasion. Well, when you've got 1,000 people at the border, we've had over 1,000, at times we've had 2,000 people plus at the border. That word invasion is absolutely applicable. It absolutely is. I mean, there have been smaller military units that have invaded countries. So yes, we can call that invasion. What's racist about it? The president is straightforward. He says it like it is, and he tells the truth from his perspective. It's not a racist. How does a guy from New York that's hired everybody under the sun, regardless of color or race or ethnicity, how does somebody like that get called a racist? I don't know, only from loons on the left. And I want you to take a look at this. I saw this last night. This is incredible to me. You've got these Democrats on MSNBC. I mean, real hate mongers. These people are vicious haters. They can't stand people on the right. They hate conservatives. They hate Republicans. And you've got this person basically saying that the president of the United States is responsible for the mass shooting, or partly responsible for the mass shooting, because he's sending subliminal messages. Wow. The president is sending subliminal messages. That's interesting. President Trump strikes me as kind of a street fighter. I mean, really, just right there, straightforward, shooting from the hip. He's just straight on. That's who he is. You get what you see, and I love that. I find that actually very refreshing. So I want you to see, I asked my producer to put these two little pieces of an interview that was on Tucker Carlson's Fox News channel last night. So you've got somebody talking about the president sending subliminal messages, and then right after that, you see this person that's a former FBI agent. Now, this is a little scary. You've got a former FBI agent that MSNBC dug up from somewhere. And this guy is saying that the president of the United States is sending coded messages. Coded messages, and that the number 8 is a racist number. Because if you count A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is the 8th number of the alphabet, ladies and gentlemen. Did you ever think about that? The letter H is the 8th number in the alphabet. And guess what? The president asked everyone to fly their flags at half-mast for those that were killed, gunned down in Dayton, Ohio, by an Elizabeth Warren supporter, by a Bernie Sanders supporter. I mean, this guy in Dayton, Ohio is a Satanist that supports the hard left socialists in the United States, right? And so this former FBI agent is saying that the president is asking people to fly their flag across the country at half-mast until August 8th. 08, because it's a code for Heil Hitler, because the number 8 represents H. I want you to hear these people. I'm not making this stuff up. These are Democrats. This is the hard left. Unbelievable what's on the MSNBC, ABC, CBS, ABC. I mean, this is CNN. These are the kind of guests that these people have on their broadcasts. Do they have any credibility? Not in my book. Let's play it.
Donald Trump is giving them subliminal orders in their head.
Things and language and messaging that matters. The president said that we will fly our flags at half-mast until August 8th. That's 8-8. Now, I'm not going to imply that he did this deliberately, but I am using it as an example of the ignorance of the adversary.
Donald Trump is giving them subliminal orders.
This idiocy from the left, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not calling them an idiot. I'm not calling them any names, but I'm just saying these statements reflect a kind of idiocy, right? It reminds me, does it remind you? I mean, doesn't it remind you of Louis Farrakhan? I mean, Louis Farrakhan is this horrible anti-Semitic person. You know, he is the leader of the Nation of Islam, and he's always calling for white people to be killed. He calls us the white crackers, and he's calling for these crackers and cracker babies to be killed in the United States, and he's calling Jews rats and rodents and, you know, vermin that need to be killed. Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam that supports Representative Ilhan Omar in Congress. Louis Farrakhan, the guy that, you know, supported Keith Ellison when he was in Congress and supports Rashida Tlaib, that supports these Muslims in Congress that have ties to terrorist groups. That's right. So it reminded me of Louis Farrakhan, because if you listen to Louis Farrakhan, which you can catch on videos on YouTube, he talks about numbers and these numbers, you know, meaning things, and how there can be these subliminal messages and it's code, and, you know, it makes you stand back. So I'm listening to this ridiculousness on a news outlet that's really a news outlet that represents and supports and is a propaganda. News networks that are propaganda machines for the hard left in this country. And the hard left in this country today is the Democratic Party. So I'm listening to this, because thank God Tucker Carlson on Fox News played it. And then, you know, we heard yesterday Joaquin Castro. Let's listen to Joaquin Castro.
Happened to the 44 private citizens whose names you posted? Do you want people to boycott their companies, protest outside their homes? What's the goal here?
No, that was never my goal. Like I said, my post was actually as a San Antonian. My family has been here since 1922. Mm-hmm. It was a lament. So it wasn't meant as a boycott. It wasn't meant to target these people. It was meant to draw attention to the fact that we've got a lot of people in our community who are respected by San Antonio, who are contributing to this guy that's using their money to fuel hate. And so what I hope is that this has started a conversation about what exactly Donald Trump is doing with these people's money. And I hope that these donors in San Antonio and donors throughout the country, unless you support the white nationalism and the racism that Donald Trump is paying for and fueling, then I hope that you, as a person of good conscience, will think twice about contributing to his campaign.
But, Congressman, as you look at this list, I know you said you didn't put their addresses out there. It's easy to find them. These people undoubtedly are already being harassed online, or perhaps face-to-face in some cases. They could be. What do you say to those people this morning who said, I made a campaign donation, and now I'm going to be harassed? I'm going to have people protesting outside my business or perhaps even my home. What do you say to them? Do you want them to repent for their support for Donald Trump, or what do you want from them?
Well, the first thing is that I don't want anybody harassed or targeted.
But they will be, because you put their names in public.
Like that was not my intention.
But that's what will happen.
These things are public. No, what I would like for them to do is think twice about supporting a guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just listened to another Democrat that's a liar. Another lying Democrat. Here you have a guy whose twin brother, Julian Castro, I believe he's polling at 1% for President of the United States of America. Thank God. And his twin brother, this guy, Joaquin Castro, is a representative from San Antonio, Texas. He's trying to sell you and I on the proposition that he didn't mean anything. I mean, he put up a list of people that were donors to the president. He didn't mean to put a target on their back. He didn't mean for anybody to boycott their business. He didn't mean like for anybody to target them, like maybe take a pot shot at them with a gun or petition in front of their business or not give them any business at all and run them out of business so they would, lose all their money and just, go broke. Oh no. Are you kidding? This guy's rich. I mean, is this guy going to hell in a handbasket? I mean, he truly is just a real liar. I couldn't believe it. You put people's first name and last name. I looked at it. I saw it on Twitter. I was responding to it. You need to follow me on Twitter, please. Please follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com. I think it's, what is it? At Denice Gary Show? Denice Gary Show. So follow me on Twitter. I tweeted all morning.
It's on the screen.
My producer's telling me it's on the screen. That's great. So it's on the screen. So follow me on Twitter. So if you're going to put somebody's first and last name, and if they have a business, their business, or if they're retired, whatever, if you're going to put their name out there for everybody to see on Twitter and or Facebook, all these social media platforms, they're going to become a target. You've put a target on their back. You've set them up for somebody to shoot at them. We just had Steve Scalise. How many surgeries did that congressman, did that Republican have to go through to get his life together again so he could walk? I mean, what was it, a dozen? I don't even know. I don't even remember. But Steve Scalise, a Republican in Congress, was nearly murdered, but for the fact that thankfully an ambulance got there in time to get him to a hospital to save his life. Capitol Police, who could have been Democrats, were shot at and could have been killed. Many people could have been killed that day by a Democrat with a gun. Talk about hypocrisy. And here you have Joaquin Castro talking about when his family got here in 1922. Who cares when your family got here? I mean, what does that mean? You put a target on people's back, and guess what? Here's the good news. So this is why I wanted you to see that again, because I saw today people that had donated to President Trump on television this morning saying that, because some of them had also donated to Castro. Why, I don't know. I guess because they're business people, and sometimes business people, they'll give money out to both the Democrats and the Republicans because they want to, cover every angle. I wouldn't do that, but, some people do that. I think that shows a lack of principle. But at any rate, the good news is, here's the victory for Trump, is people are now coming out and saying they're going to donate to Trump again, all right, but they're not going to donate to Castro's campaign as they did in the past. So, good news, ladies and gentlemen. Castro is not going to get probably the same donations that he got the last go around. And people in Congress, these people in the House of Representatives, how often do they have to run for re-election? Every 2 years. In the United States Senate, it's every 6 years, but in the United States House of Representatives, it's every 2 years. So this guy is going to have to run again for office, and he's not going to get the contributions that he once got because they don't appreciate the fact that a twit would put a target on their back, and now their businesses might be affected in a negative way by people in the Hispanic community in El Paso, Texas. But I've got good news for those business owners. There's lots of Hispanics that voted for Trump. There's lots of people here that are Americans, Hispanic people that are Americans. And they actually don't want illegal immigrants coming in because they're people of principle and they understand the concept that when you break the law and come here illegally, there's chances are that you may be here for more than just looking for a job, although you may be here for just looking for a job, but there are people that come here and are involved in identity fraud, voter fraud, DUIs, theft, drugs, human trafficking, murder, rape, child abuse, spousal abuse. Oh yeah, it happens. Yeah, it is. Doesn't make me a racist to say it, but it happens. Not everybody's a saint that comes here illegally. In fact, I think it automatically takes them off the saint list, right? If they broke the law to come here illegally. And there are Hispanic people that understand that and feel like that really isn't the right thing to do. It's not right to be a crowder and crowd in front of the line when we've got people all over the world that are standing in line to get here legally. So, so we've got this Joaquin Castro that's trying to hurt people on the right, and now we've got a movie. I want you to see, there's 2 trailers I want you to see about a movie called The Hunt. So it's not enough that we had people that are Republicans or conservatives nearly killed last year. It's not enough that we have Democrats and liberals and socialists and communists in the country taking hats off young people in fast food restaurants that say MAGA, right? Remember that? I showed this on this show various times throughout this year. I've showed how people have beaten up or pulled off the hat and spit in the face of people that are wearing the MAGA cap. I mean, all kinds of things. People have been targeted. I work at a school. I work and I'm an educator. I don't dare put a Trump sticker or anything that reflects my politics on my car because I fear for my car that it would be keyed or the tires would be slashed. I already had the tires slashed once. I don't do that because there is a real concern that while I'm in the classroom, I would become a target. Yeah, that's how bad it is. There are people that I work with that whisper, that feel they have to whisper, that work for schools here in Kern County. And they don't dare mention that they're a Republican because they don't want to be a target by other educators or staff. Yes, they don't want to be called a racist because that's what we get called. That's what educators get called here in Central California. They get called a racist. So now we have, on top of having to be extremely politically correct at work, not being able to show the fact that we're Trump supporters because we're afraid that the moment we turn our back, something's going to happen to our vehicle. But now we have a movie that's going to incite people around the United States to come after us with guns and knives and bombs. And I think it's incredible that Sean, I don't mean, sorry, Sean, but you know what? Couldn't believe on your radio show when I listened at the beginning of it, I couldn't believe that you didn't think that was a big deal. It's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. And you say, oh, well, it's freedom of speech. Well, you know what? Maybe it's not, because I used to teach political science at the college and university level. One of the things that, based on court precedent from the Supreme Court ruling is you can't cry fire in a crowded theater when there is no fire, because people can get trampled upon and killed. And I really hope to God that if they don't ban this movie, if they decide to play this movies in theaters across America, it's supposed to start, I think, September 27th. If they decide to play this movie, I hope that if anybody at all winds up being hurt by this movie and they find out that they were a victim of someone who watched this movie, I hope they sue all the actors and actresses and the movie theater, everybody involved in making this movie called The Hunt, hunting down Republicans and conservatives to murder them. I hope they get sued and they lose everything. Let's listen to these trailers. Go for it. Play the first one.
The manor is the ultimate in luxury. From the moment you step onto our private jet, you'll realize that hunting is not just a sport. It is a 5-star boutique experience. Our guides will ensure that your expedition is deeply rewarding as you come face to face with game unlike any you have ever hunted. The bond, the thrill, the memories. That's the manner difference. This is the ultimate human experience. Join us for the hunt.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the lightweight trailer, right? That seems okay, and they're running that on some channels. But here's the real heart stopper. This is the one that sent a chill down my spine, because I'm a public figure, and I'm thinking I've been out and about in my own community, and people say, I know who you are. And because they know who I am. And I'm thinking, these Hollywood liberals, these Democrats, these socialists, these communists have put a target on my back just by showing the trailer, just by having the movie trailer come out. They've put a target on my back, and they've put a target on the back of every Republican and conservative across this country. And that is incredibly irresponsible. I want you to see this next trailer.
Well, this ain't Arkansas, so everyone is lying.
Your idea is incredible.
I can't argue with that. We pay for everything. So this country belongs to us.
It's just business. Hunting human beings for sport.
They're not human beings.
Every year, a bunch of elites kidnap normal folk like us.
Where'd they get you from?
Wyoming. Mississippi.
Orlando. And hunt us for sport. Hurry up.
So it's true.
We're being hunted.
Hey, what am I gonna wait?
What is happening?
Put him in the back with the rest.
Gonna take a freight train down at the station. I don't care where it goes.
Now they can't see us.
You just told them we're here.
What was that?
I think that was a rifle.
Come on, everybody get out of here! Jesus, come on!
Who are these people? How are they?
So, ladies and gentlemen, isn't that incredible? And I'm thinking, and I need to go to a gym. I need to go to Sculpt 365 Fitness today. And I just, the anxiety and the concern that it created inside of me. I mean, I just think, wow. So I want to encourage everybody, Sculpt 365 Fitness, right there on Callaway and Brimhall. Callaway and Brimhall in Bakersfield, California. They've got another location on Chester Avenue. They've got another location in Tehachapi, California on Sage Lane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the best gym in town. It's got the top of the line equipment. They've got all kinds of classes that are available, including a class for seniors from 4:30 to 5:30. This is the place to go, and it's owned and operated by a military veteran, a Navy veteran, Craig Jansen. Sign up at Sculpt 365, and then after you go work out, go to Frugatti's Restaurant, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite Italian restaurant right here in the Central Valley in Bakersfield, California. Check it out. Take a drive. If you're living somewhere here in Kern County, come to Frugatti's Restaurant. Tell the owner, Ralph Frugaletti, you heard his commercial on the Denice Scary Show, right? We want to keep our sponsors. We need it. I absolutely need it. I need more sponsors. Anyway, tell them you heard about Frugatti's Restaurant, the best Italian eatery in all of Kern County, right here on the Denice Scary Show. Ralph Frugaletti's the owner. He's from Italy. And he cooks a delicious Italian meal. Him and his cooks All their pasta, all their bread is made from scratch, all right there, homemade. And let's go to Anata's Products. Anata's Products, again, owned and operated right here in the Central Valley in Kern County by Scott Baker. If you're working for a DoD contractor, you want to give him the business. Let's listen to Scott Anata's. And when we come back, I want you to see this. This was on Twitter. I want you to see this, and I want you to hear my final words. It's important. We'll be right back.
President Trump has created security as national security, and in the Tehachapi Mountains of Kern County resides a United States defense contractor, Anata's Products. Here is the Silicon Valley of the aerospace industry, right here in East Kern. Anata's Products is a forward-leaning manufacturer and distributor of hardware sold to major defense and aerospace companies. We're talking about Boeing, Lockheed Martin, United Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon General Electric, and on the list goes, as well as to every United States ally worldwide, including Israel, America's most important strategic ally in the Middle East. And for everything that flies, Anata's Products is providing the parts. And with me today is the president of Anata's Products, Scott Baker. Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Scott, tell us why you believe this corner of Kern County is the hub of the aerospace industry.
Well, this portion of Southern California here out in the Antelope Valley, it contains, some of the most cutting-edge technology going on in aviation today. We have some of the UCAS programs with unmanned technologies going on. We have Edwards Air Force Base out here who's doing continual testing in their area. We have the Naval Weapons Station up there at China Lake doing some fantastic cutting-edge stuff, cruise missile technology, and those things are going on. We have Scale Composites locally doing a lot of composite technology, which is new. We have SpaceX, which is a private one putting a private entity putting things into space now. This area is the growth center for aviation's future, and this is the area I think that as a nation we need to be concentrating some of our effort and taking this technology. And as we all know, with the space program from Apollo years ago, out of these technologies, we the private sector are going to reap some of the benefits of that.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Baker, president of Anata's Products. Anata's Products, located in the beautiful mountains of Tehachapi, California, in eastern Kern County, is home to some of the most innovative and specialized technologies in the world, including those at the U.S. Naval Air Warfare Center, Weapons Division at China Lake, Edwards Air Force Base, as well as Stratolaunch, launching satellites capable of delivering multiple orbits in a single flight to space. And it is Anata's Products that has provided the manufactured devices, and the president, Scott Baker of Anata's Products, Marine Corps veteran, reactivated on 9/11 to monitor threats to the homeland, is carrying on a tradition of providing for the security of the United States by manufacturing every kind of fastener on anything that flies, as well as providing a full testing destructive laboratory. Contact Anata's Products, now in business for 30 years, at 661-822-6873. Located at 1314 Goodrich Drive in Tehachapi for your manufacturing and testing needs today.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to listen to MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, you would think that everybody hates the president, that everybody hates the president in Dayton, Ohio, because the mayor of Dayton, she gave the president what for? She told the president, he needs to basically confiscate the guns. Who cares what Ann Whaley thinks as the mayor of Dayton? I certainly don't. Because if you had taken a gun away from that Satanist who's a Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders supporter, a guy that supports Antifa, that's the Dayton, Ohio shooter. Do you think he would have cared if he couldn't get a gun? No, he wouldn't have cared. He just would have built a bomb. He would have just used a bomb. Or he would have used knives. Or he would have built the gun. They've got how-to videos on how to build a gun on the internet. He doesn't need to go out and buy a gun. that Ann Whaley's, these Democrats are, they're not too bright, because anybody could put a gun together. I was talking to, I remember years ago when the militia movement, and they were really active, and I interviewed that Johnny Lee Clary, the former wizard of the Grand Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, or was it? Yeah, he was a Grand Knight, or the Grand Wizard for the KKK. Anyway, whatever. And I interviewed him on a show. He was with Islamic terrorist groups as well. They get together. And I thought it was interesting that, they were talking about how people here, Islamic Muslims here that supported Islamic terrorism, and these white supremacists, they literally would unpack a gun. I mean, they would pull a gun apart into pieces and mail each piece at a time. And then when it would reach the destination or the group, they would reassemble the guns so they could use them. There's all kinds of stuff that go on, people, you can't believe. But I want you to see, to hear the media, you think everybody hated the president. Here's the president in El Paso, Texas. Again, the killer in El Paso was a white supremacist, but he was a white supremacist long before Donald J. Trump became president. But, you wouldn't know that if you listen to CNN. So, here's the president in El Paso, Texas. Let's play it. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, so there the president was in El Paso. Did that look like people just hated him in El Paso? I don't think so. And I'm going to end the show with this. These are the president's words. I love the president's words here. It says, the shooter in El Paso posted a manifesto online consumed by racist hate. These are the words of the president. He said, in one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies. What are the sinister ideologies? Racism, bigotry, white supremacy. These sinister ideologies have to be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Hatred warps the mind, ravages the heart, and devours the soul. We have asked the FBI. Our president is always proactive. We have asked the FBI. The president has asked the FBI to identify all further resources they need to investigate and disrupt hate crimes and domestic terrorism, whatever they need. This is a president. He's on it. He's always on it, trying to protect the American people. There's nothing this president has said that's racist, because this president is not racist, and he's working for you, and he's working for me to try to protect the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Denice Gary Show. We need to hear from you. Send your tax-deductible contribution. Make it out to the Middle East Initiative. Send it to the Middle East Initiative. And write on your envelope, P.O. Box 82162, 82162, Bakersfield, California, 93380. It's there on the screen. Thank you so much. This is Denice, signing off.
Thank you for listening to The Denice Gary Show. Intelligent talk media.